All right, thank you so much for logging on to statechamps.tv. Maybe you're checking this out on Facebook. This is the online version of The Buzz, the OT analysis with the great Tom Markowski. All right, we got some good stuff to get to this week. It's always fun picking your brain and figuring out what is chewing away at you.
Well, especially this time of year. There's so many things that are going on, let alone the wrestling finals, the hockey tournament, and the boys and girls basketball. I think people are getting excited because of spring approaching for the spring sports season with baseball. I've already had people tell me, who's the best teams? Who's some of the best players out there in baseball? And it's like, wow, let me get through basketball, okay?
Right. Well, first off, let me quote you. When we communicated via email, you said,
We do talk before this about our subjects, so...
Right. You said
there are interesting conversations that take place before this conversation.
Absolutely. Everything leading up to this. But you said if you were king, things would be better, but you're not. So
there's still time.
What's burning in your brain right now about the meaningless games that we see year in, year out in boys and girls basketball? And it's not just the PSL.
No, the PSL ends, whatever it is, 2.5 weeks or so before the state tournament. And everybody's saying, what do they do in the meantime? Well, they have a week break off and they play meaningless non-conference games. But also you can look around the suburban games that are meaningless. Other than the KLA, which had their championship in boys this past Tuesday, it was a good game, and it was all through the playoffs. I think it's a good format. We had Dan Young on the radio show with us explaining how he thinks it helps his team, and any help you can get going into the tournament is well accepted. But
Operation Friendship.
Operation Friendship is used to be a big deal. I don't want to belabor the point too much, but way back, even when my first high school game I ever saw was in 1966 when my school, Detroit Austin, played Detroit Northwestern for the city championship. It was at Callahan Hall. It was a tough ticket. I sat way up in the rafters for that game. And it meant something in the city for the city championship. It has lost its luster. It used to be played on Saturdays recently, and finally they wised up to that and moved it to a Thursday. But nevertheless, on a Thursday, they're still not going to draw that many fans for King and Detroit Catholic Central as we speak tonight. I'm not sure that game's even relevant anymore. It's really not my point in this discussion, but I wouldn't miss it, to be honest. I think a lot of fans wouldn't miss it, and I'm sure there's a lot of fans that would miss it. But the point is, there's a lot of meaningless games that take place in this week, and a lot has to do with what's happening right now. And what's happening right now is the girls' basketball tournament, as well it should. All the attention is on the girls now, and it should be. My point is, because the boys are limited to playing Tuesdays and Thursdays, they can't really get their full weekend. A lot of them don't even play this week. A lot of them just play one game, maybe hold a scrimmage. They're all gearing up for the state tournament. It would be much better if the girls started their season a week sooner. Now, maybe they didn't even have to start sooner. Maybe just ended a week sooner and have the boys start a week later. Now, how you could do this for the girls, you crunch the schedule. Play 3 games in a week. During the holidays, we've noticed this. The boys have a lot of holiday tournament games. The girls really are left out without those holiday tournament games. A lot of people say those holiday tournament games are glorified AAU affairs that people are just trying to make money on. And it's the boys that they make the money on. They really don't make money on the girls' games that are scheduled that way. That being said, they could play some of their league games during that time, like let's say the 23rd of December right before Christmas, or the January 2nd right after the holiday. And they could squeeze their schedule together to end it sooner. I'm not saying that I'm trying to cheat the girls here. Actually, I'm trying to help the girls out and have more exposure onto the girls' state basketball tournament, as opposed to when for the 2 weeks they play their tournaments coinciding.
What about them starting the season even earlier?
Well, it would cause a problem because right now they play on a Monday, or they can start on the Monday following the football finals. Most of them start that Tuesday. Now, if you bring it back a week, that is Turkey Day week. You would have them playing a Monday or maybe a Tuesday of their Turkey Day week, and most of them won't play Wednesday. A lot of schools don't have a half day. So that really becomes a problem. And also the volleyball season that would cross. And you do get a lot of girls that play both sports. And I'm not here to say that you ought to infringe upon that. So I don't think you should mess with that. But I think you can mess with the boys season, where you started a week later, so the tournament would start March 12th, for example. Regionals would be the week of the 19th, finals the week of the 26th. I know that goes further into the spring sports season, but think about it, how many baseball players for teams like a Saginaw, like a Romulus, all the big schools like Pershing and whatnot that end up playing in the quarterfinals, in the state semifinals, in the larger schools anyways. How many of those kids play baseball? Not a lot. And even if they do, so they miss another 3-4 days of practice. All they're doing indoor, the baseball teams are now, is indoors.
Yeah, the weather's usually pretty crummy about that time.
If you're outside at that time on March 12th or 14th, whenever the practices start for the spring sports, you're sloshing around. You don't get a lot of good work outside until really late March, and sometimes not even until early April. I don't think it infringes upon the spring sports at all. I know I talked with Nate Hampton with the MHSA, and he said, we don't want to go a week later with, let's say you move the boys' baseball season and the girls' softball season back a week, or where instead, I think this year it's like the 17th of June. You don't really want to play it on the 24th. I see the problems there. You're getting closer to the 4th of July holiday. You're closing in on your summer vacation for the kids. I'm not trying to do that. But if you just move the boys further into the spring season as far as the boys' basketball.
Just a week, right?
Just a week, because then you end the girls' season a week sooner, getting back to crunching their schedule and having them play 3 games in a week sometimes, which some people do anyways. They would probably have to do that maybe 3 times during the season, which I don't think would cause much difficulty.
Let me take a wild guess and just say that he doesn't like that idea.
No, he doesn't like that either. I think the only way that this would happen, like I said, as we started this conversation, if I were king,
yes.
But you'd have to get BCAM to agree with this too and their philosophy. And I'm miffed. Is there something wrong with the girls having their own tournament? When I mean by that while they're playing, the boys are still playing the regular season, and all the attention and focus is on the girls' tournament. Once that's over, you start the boys' tournament, and then all the attention can be on them. The girls really got messed up in this whole deal. Let's face it, when they moved from the fall to the winter season with the boys, the number of people that come out to the girls' games have diminished significantly. I'm trying to get
that's a
more
fact.
Focus on the girls' state basketball tournament, because let's face it, when the girls get into the regionals next week and the boys start playing their districts, who's going to get most of the attention? We all know the answer to that one. And unfortunately, it's going to be the boys, and the girls' regionals will be, a page 2 story, and it's page 1 for the boys. So I don't know. There's got to be a solution, and I think you would see an increase in crowds. And I think the girls would be put in a better spotlight.
Right, and not only that, you would see an increase in revenue at these schools.
And I think you would too. And I think some people would say, well, Tom, I don't know about crunching that season. You're taking away a season. But a lot of times you find girls, even the boys, they'll just play 1 game during the week because the season's so long, you only have 20 games. I won't even get into the point where other states play 24 and 26 regular season. That's another topic for the OT. But with the 20-game schedule we're working with now, it's easy to cut off a 1 week of the season and have them start a week sooner.
All right, good stuff. All right, well, that's it for this week. This week's version of the OT. Make sure you join us. We've got a few more weeks of the Friday night radio show. It's from 9 to 11 p.m. on WDFN, 11:30 a.m. The Fan. You can also listen to the show online at WDFN.com or on your smartphone via the iHeartRadio app. So make sure you check it out. We have fun. This is our first time, doing this, and we always have good interviews, and it's been fun.
Yes, we've had different types of shows, with the recruiting that we've had based in early February and late January. And I also want to let the fans know that the voting for Miss Basketball is currently going on. She will be announced a week from Monday. Next week's the regionals. The week of the quarterfinals and semis that Monday will be Miss Basketball announced. We'll talk more about that next week.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's it. We'll see you next week.